$100 and will be the softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and get 2 for 1 low price, plus free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you a very special 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
So, Frank, you're a big hurt. Why do you need Nugenics?
After 40, a guy loses free testosterone. Even me. I couldn't stay in shape like I used to.
Frank! So does Nugenics really work?
Oh, yeah. My workouts are incredible now. I'm feeling stronger, more energetic, with a lot more drive.
Frank. So, say I knew someone who should try Nugenics. How does he do that?
It's easy. Just send a text to get a complimentary bottle.
Frank's right. Now you can claim a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics by texting BUFF to 42424. Its unique formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate. Text BUFF to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenics Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of new Nugenics Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. That's BUFF to 424.
Well, the virus has now killed more than 100 people in China, and new cases have been confirmed around the world.
So you don't want to frighten the American public.
France and South Korea have also got evacuation plans.
But you need to prepare for and assume.
Strongly warning Americans to avoid all non-essential travel to China.
That this is going to be a real serious problem.
France, Australia, Canada, the US, Singapore, Cambodia, Vietnam, the list goes on.
Health officials are investigating more than 100 possible cases in the US.
Germany, a man has contracted the virus.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
Japan, where a bus driver contracted the virus.
Coronavirus has killed more than 100 people there and infected more than 4,500.
We have to prepare for the worst, always, because if you don't and the worst happens.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Oye,
For our radio audience, we just played an open that showed this amazing, astonishing, stunning outpouring of support, love, and focus throughout the country. Never seen anything like it, from 90-mile caravans in the deserts of Arizona to shutting down of the Tappan Zee Bridge to a crowd of 50 to 60,000 in Butler County, Pennsylvania, and everything in between. Butler County was a Democratic county. Donald J. Trump just rolling towards victory here. We got up now the map. We've done a ton of analytical work. And for a campaign and a presidency that was dead 4 weeks ago, that's our best guess right now. And there's a couple on the cusp. We think Nevada, Minnesota, Michigan, don't know how they're going to play. There is a path to victory here. It's going to be, as I call it, tough but doable. And what's going to have to happen is the deplorables are going to have to show up tomorrow. But we have victory within our grasp at 10 or 11 o'clock on tomorrow night as you watch this broadcast live from a roof overlooking the nation's capital and probably the most stunning view in Washington, D.C. We're going to have an incredible show, 8 hours of live coverage with the best data analytics, the best legal, the best. We're going to have ground reports from all over the nation. But right now, we see this thing coming down. Yes, your eyes are correct. 289 electoral votes for Donald J. Trump. We take this very seriously. We've been working this every day for months and months and months. And there were some pretty grim. We got up on for our radio audience, the people at TV that are watching this live stream, watching us on Newsmax or Real America's Voice, can see it. We actually have as we said, the foundation of this will be Ohio and Florida. We think that those two are trending our way. We think that a collapse of the Hispanic vote in South Florida is spelled doom for Joe Biden. Also the African-American male vote, as we've been saying. They took those two demographics for granted for decades and decades and decades. And we think it's showing up right now in Florida. So those are the two foundational elements. We then think very, very tough, but Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina, and these are like 1 point, 1.5 points, but it looks like we think that all three of those will hold, and that'll lay the foundation for Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. Heavily Catholic Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, blue-collar Catholics, we think are coming home to support President Trump, not just fracking, but also the corruption of the Biden family, and Biden taking 10 days off from the campaign. We've got new polling from the Express of London, which, as you know, is the global paper of the populist nationalist movement throughout the world. They've done an amazing poll that Jack Maxey's going to talk about in a second. We're honored to have Sidney Powell is our co-host in studio today. She really classed the place up. We're not used to. Normally our in-studio co-host is Jack Posobiec. So Sidney, we're so grateful to have you. We've got Jam Show today. Mayor Rudy Giuliani. We've got General Tom McInerney. And General McInerney is going to be breaking big news. We're going to talk about a Project Hammer, something called Hammer, that everybody's got to know about. Mayor Giuliani being here. Nigel Farage is from Scranton. We've got a gathering of the tribes up in Scranton, northeast Pennsylvania, where this thing is flipping towards Trump. As we said, we've said this now for months. As goes Pennsylvania, so goes the nation, and as goes northeast Pennsylvania, so goes the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So President Trump's going to Scranton today. We've got Nigel Farage. We have Raheem Kassam up there. We have people from Front National and the National Rally that have been with us all weekend. They are now up there. The populist nationalist movement globally is all centering around working-class people in Scranton. We've also got the great pollster Richard Barris from Big Data Polling. He's done a great job on the analytics. Bill McGinley, who's called every shot, including he said this is going to happen. Clyburn came out yesterday and again today. Congressman Clyburn from South Carolina said, hey, this voter suppression, I've got 100 affidavits. McGinley told you this weeks ago that, hey, they're going to be lining up with affidavits. They're going to walk into court on the poll watchers. So this thing's about to get ugly. There's also breaking news, I think, Nigel, that Raheem Kassam has later in the show. He's going to be talking about Hawkfish has come out with an analysis. This is Bloomberg's Special Forces operation, the one that's been part of the Transition Integrity Project. The guys that came out and talked about the Big Red Mirage, we call it the Big Red Predicate. They are saying right now in their analysis that Donald J. Trump will be ahead on election night substantially, potentially substantially, and they have a plan to reverse that using social media, street protest, and particularly lawfare. That's what President Trump said yesterday. You heard Jason Miller, our old co-host here on our partner in the War Room, said the quiet part out loud yesterday with George Stephanopoulos, and Stephanopoulos had a meltdown. He said, hey, President Trump's going to be winning on election night, and guess what? He's going to fight hard. He's not going to have this thing stolen in the canvassing rooms throughout the rest of the country as they try to take 2 or 3 weeks to count this. Just remember, progressive Democrats and all the left, that is the anti-Trump movement, starting tomorrow night, the clock starts ticking, and the clock is not in your favor, okay? The clock is not in your favor. December 8th. All got to be certified by December 8th. So Donald J. Trump, as we said for weeks and weeks and weeks now, is going to put up a big number on Tuesday night. Looked a little grim right after the first debate when he got the CCP virus. Had a dip there, looked a little grim there for a minute. A couple of pollsters I know I'm very close to. Actually, one guy came to me that I'm very close to, and I think a lot of, and came to me and said he thought it would be a Mondale-type blowout against Trump. Of course, if you watch mainstream media today, if you watch Morning Joe, CNN, they got Trump 7, 8, 9, 10 down, okay? And they're predicting right now a Mondale-type. They're saying about Carter. They're using Carter and Herbert Hoover as the two names they're using. Well, I can tell you this thing is going to be tight. Nothing in the bag. That 289 that we've got up there is a lot's got to happen right. But most importantly, you've got to represent. This is on the shoulders of the deplorables. Donald Trump's done everything he could possibly do. He's turned this country around. He's taken on the Chinese. He's taken on the CCP. He's campaigned with no surrogates. He's had the family there, but they've been out and about. But he's put this on his shoulder. You know why? In the last 2 minutes, you tell great athletes when you're in high school, there's the guys that want the ball, right? In the last 2 minutes, he wants the ball for the final shot. I want to turn now to Sidney Powell, of not just General Flynn fame, but you've really become an icon on the right. And I want to formally introduce her today, I guess it's informally, as the future FBI director, Sidney Powell. She will be the next FBI director when Ray's fired tomorrow night, right when the polls close. Didn't go full Steve Bannon. They didn't go full Steve Bannon. I wanted him fired last week. So give us your assessment of where we are.
Steve, I think the other side has grossly underestimated the American people, because to bet against Donald Trump is to bet against true American patriots who want freedom and liberty and justice to prevail in this country. They sense the fundamental unfairness. They're fed up with the double standard. They're fed up with the violence and the bullying from the leftists. And they are ready to take this country back. They are 100%, we are 100% fed up. You didn't start as a radical. You've kind of become a radical because of your interactions with the system. I've never even been political. In fact, when I wrote License to Lie, I didn't think I was being political. I wrote it, frankly, thinking the liberals would be thrilled with it and very concerned about our criminal justice system. And instead, the only people that have listened to anything I've had to say have been conservatives. What about this outpouring you've seen over the last couple of days? And that's why we wanted to start with this montage that was over 3 minutes long. We're now going to tweet it out. Our social media team played to that amazing music from Florida, right? The Donald Trump fight song from South Florida. Have you seen anything like this? I mean, No, never. Certainly not in my lifetime. It's absolutely amazing, and it's so encouraging that there's so many people now that are willing to stand up. The first thing I realized when I wrote License to Lie and began to talk about it was how afraid people in the country were. And that was back in 2014 when Obama was president. And the first thing people would say to me is, do you have bodyguards? Do you have somebody starting your car for you? And these were, active political people that were just stunned that I would write something that was so true and so compelling. And naming the people that were in the highest positions of power throughout the Obama administration and showing what they had done as federal prosecutors who had completely corrupted multiple federal prosecutions, destroying Arthur Anderson and 85,000 jobs for nothing and sending 4 innocent Merrill Lynch executives to prison. And then they became Obama's longest-serving White House counsel, deputy director of the FBI and general counsel for the FBI, Mr. Weissman. And then they all start resurfacing again. Weissman should be in prison, right? No doubt. We should have a special prosecutor just on him. That's certainly warrants an investigation. That's going to happen. By the way, we win tomorrow night. That's going to happen. Weissman's going to come under investigation. They're all going to come under investigation, right? Pete Braha, Weissman, all of it. Okay, the games are over. Games are over. Trump likes to say no games. He took this for 4 years. Listened to people, said, let these guys come in here. We tried that. Been there, done that, right? Right. Not going to happen again.
when you have Sidney Powell as your FBI director, right? This is going to cause the left to have a meltdown, right? Right now, they're sitting there, they're scratching their bellies, they're getting ready for a big victory, just like they did in 16. Well, for somebody who's there in 16, I can tell you, we've worked this every day, and you're going to see the deplorables represent. As the generals told us, the 250, it's the most important. Tom Hayward and all these guys fought every war since Korea said it's the most important election in the history of the Republic. I can also tell you it's the most important election in 5,000 years of Chinese history. Okay? We're going to have the mayor, America's mayor, is going to join us next with an update on the Biden family crime syndicate. Next on War Room Pandemic.
Stay tuned to get a free pan from Granite Stone. Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can scrub and scrape, but you can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Look, caramels, chocolate, and cheese. Unreal for any other pan, but not for Granite Stone. It just doesn't stick. Granite Stone will be the last pan you'll ever need because it's pressed from a solid aluminum disc for even heat conduction, then coated 3 times with our durable Granite Stone finish. Granite Stone is metal utensil safe and won't scratch. And talk about non-stick. This salmon cooked skin side down with no added butter or oil just doesn't stick. This steak is perfectly seared just like the pros. And because Granite Stone is oven rated to 500 degrees, we bake this upside down pan pizza to perfection, and it just doesn't stick. Fire Flambe Delicious Cherries Jubilee. Plus, it's PFOA free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your Granite Stone pan for the special TV discount price of just $19.99. Granite Stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a Granite Stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. It's the perfect size for personalized eggs, omelets, or frittatas that slide right out. It makes the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich quick. Yours absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. You get it all, an incredible value. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-850-0237. That's 1-800-850-0237, or order online at buygranitestone.com. That's 1-800-850-0237. Call now.
The next time you buy something, look and ask, where was it made? At WeatherTech, we design, engineer, and manufacture right here in America. Now more than ever, we need to support American manufacturing and our economy. Buying anything made in America supports our own family of 330 million Americans. So, the next time you're purchasing something, look and ask, where was it made? WeatherTech.com, made right in America.
Fall is a great time to take trips in your vehicle. Some are more memorable than others. And because life is sometimes messy, we've got you covered. With laser-measured floor liners, seat protectors, and our full line of automotive protection products to help keep your vehicle looking its best. Order at WeatherTech.com. WeatherTech, made right in America.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
John Fredericks Radio Network, Real America's Voice, the old America's, Voice.news? Real America's Voice, Dish Channel 219, Comcast Channel 113, and of course Newsmax TV now in 70 million homes. When I give a hat tip to Chris Ray and the crew down in Palm Beach, also the team, Howard Diamond and the team out in Colorado at Real America's Voice help us produce this. John Solomon, the entire team in Washington, D.C. Also G News, GTV throughout the world in Mandarin, and also on our podcast now with over 17 million downloads. You guys make this the biggest, most powerful show in the world. The reason is the audience, combination of the deplorables and Lao Beijing, right? Old 100 names, Lincoln Arms, changing the world. They're afraid of you. Now we want to bring in America's Mayor, Rudy Giuliani. We have Sidney Powell, the great attorney, the defender of General Mike Flynn, and others. Mayor, I got a question. We've put out a ton more information this weekend. Jack Maxey, Noah Benjamin, the team here, and we're going to be dumping a lot more about the Biden family crime syndicate. Since we're going to have Sidney Powell as be the new FBI director after Rick Grinnell is going to do interim. Rick Grinnell is going to be interim starting tomorrow night when Ray's fired. He's going to hit it with a flamethrower. Sidney Powell's coming in is going to be the permanent FBI director. Mayor Giuliani, if the president asked you to take on, be a special prosecutor, just to focus on the Biden family crime syndicate, could you get this thing sorted if you started tomorrow night? Could you get that sorted by the high noon on the 20th of January, the year of our Lord 2021, when Donald Trump takes the oath for his second term, sir?
It would take me about a month and a half to 2 months to present it to a grand jury. Evidence is overwhelming. Probably, unless there's probably 2 months you get an indictment. 3 months, it would be a racketeering indictment. We'd have to debate whether we go all the way back 30 years or we just concentrate on vice president years up, probably vice president years up. That still gets you 40 million at least that they got from foreign countries. All of it bribes, all of it for specific things Joe would do for the foreign country or company. There were witnesses who proved that, and there are emails now, text messages, audio recordings, video recordings. It's almost embarrassing in sense of a prosecutor's point of view. You have so much evidence. It's obviously not an easy case, but in terms of you couldn't ask for evidence.
What about the national? But Cindy, jump in here. What about the national security aspect of this? I mean, they got poor Mike Flynn. They've been hounding him
might very well be
for 4 years on this, FAR or whatever they got Flynn on. They got Manafort in prison, and I realize it's corruption, and they've taken a lot of money, everything like that. But what about the compromise? What about the selling us out to our major enemy, the Chinese Communist Party? What about the national security aspect of this? How do you go about that?
A couple of ways.
And we want everybody on the left to understand this, embrace it. Rudy Giuliani is going to be the special prosecutor that goes after the Biden family crime syndicate. Okay, so Mayor, how do you also take the national security part?
Well, I mean, there are a number of ways. First of all, there are a number of Foreign Agent Registration Act crimes, but there's also pretty good espionage case based on the last contract, the one with Xi Jinping, Ho, and Guan Wangdun. They're all intelligence operatives, two of them very high level. One of them, Hunter Biden, on an audio recording that you guys have played several times, describes him as the spy master of China. Now, all of a sudden,
that's Patrick Ho. Patrick Ho, yeah.
Patrick Ho, that's right. Hunter and his father are in partnership with the spy master of China. I mean, that's a pretty darn good espionage case, and getting money from it. In addition to the many
$1 million. Why? We put out the wire transfer. $1 million signed contract, both their signatures on the contract, and we put out the wire transfer.
So and he confesses to a stripper that he represents him.
Yeah, $1 million from a Chinese communist, the spy master of China. And then a contract for $10 million a year for 3 years, plus 10% of the profit, 50% of the profit. Sorry, and that's the one where they say to H, for the big guy, and you prove the big guy with 4 or 5 texts, Mr. Bobolinsky's testimony. I think eventually you'll get Gallius and a couple of the others. They're not going to want to go to jail for him.
No, Chris Hines, the whole crowd, they all come forward. They'll all roll on him.
Oh, Chris Hines.
Let me ask you.
Chris Hines dropped out of it for some reason. The FBI never thought to go ask him why. I mean, how incompetent is that? Chris Hines dropped out of the Ukraine deal and the China deal, and then he dropped out of the partnership. Hey, Chris, why?
Do you expand your investigation while we're prepping Sidney Powell to get ready for a confirmation hearing as FBI director? Do you and Grinnell, as you're going through, as Grinnell's going through with a flamethrower and just hitting the flamethrower to the FBI and the CIA and all this, because Haspel's going to get fired, Esper's going to get fired, the whole crowd of them's getting fired, okay? All going to get fired as soon as polls close tomorrow night. Not the Bannon plan. Bannon plan and the Powell plan was firing last week, but that's okay. We can wait another 36 hours. Do you expand your investigation to start going after why the FBI? I mean, do you expand that, or do you just stay? Do you stay on the Biden family crime syndicate? Or do you expand your investigation of why the FBI basically took this hard drive and just buried it for over a year?
You're darn right I want to know that. I mean, I was defending him. I would, if I had that hard drive, the whole Ukraine thing goes away. Now, all of a sudden, there's very, very good reason for the Ukraine investigation, namely bribery at the highest levels of both governments that's admitted and proven. If the president didn't ask him to investigate, he wouldn't be following his responsibilities under the Constitution. He's supposed to take care that our laws are faithfully executed. That's what he was doing. And there was no pressure, no extortion, nothing like the Biden conversation with the president of the Ukraine, in which he said, if you don't fire the prosecutor, you're not going to get your $1 billion. You're going to go bankrupt. And, of course, never disclosing that his son and the business that paid him the money, one of the crookedest guys in Ukraine, Mykola Zlochevsky, that the case to be dismissed was that case. And one for Soros, by the way, just for good measure. Soros got his case dismissed by Biden also. No wonder Soros is the biggest contributor to him, the Democratic Party, also Black Lives Matter and Antifa.
Let me, Mayor, I want to just shift. I realize, we've put two sets of documents out. One's the depravity, and the others we call the compromise. The depravity and the compromise. And they're kind of inextricably linked. But as we said, kind of knowing a global audience and knowing, particular people come for the depravity, but they stay for the compromise, right? So they'll see the depravity, but they'll stay for the docs, they'll stay for the wire transfers, the signed engagement letters, everything with the CCP. What do you do with the depravity? Right now with the FBI, we still don't know on the endangerment and all these issues related to the text messages, all those related to the photographs. And look, this is not what we specialize in War Room Pandemic, right? We've never done this before. But it calls out for this issue of child endangerment. When you're special prosecutor and going through this, how do you handle that aspect of it? Since you and Bernie Kerik were the two guys who really came forward and took this overwhelming body of evidence to the Delaware authorities after you were told that you basically had to by other guys who have been former prosecutors.
Well, I mean, when I came across the text message that Hunter sends to his father, in which he describes how the therapist is saying that he can't be with a 14-year-old girl because he takes his clothes off, he exposes himself, he smokes crack in front of her, and he texts these prostitutes in front of her. He then says, well, she said I didn't do it. The girl did. But then he admits to his father, almost like in a plea for help, but I do present a danger to the kids. And then you look at his photographs, and you see the danger that he presents to them. And then you see a disproportionate number of underage girls. And then you see a few pictures that the experts have to tell you what those are. But here's what they told me. The two detectives who have done together about 100 years of this work said to me, you and the commissioner have an obligation to report this. Since you're not in office, you don't have a legal obligation, but you sure have a moral obligation to do it. And you've got to report it right away. And I said, well, it's already with the FBI, but you got to report it to the Delaware police. And I said, oh, yeah, great. We're going to go to the police department he owns, right? But we did it anyway. And just to prove that he owns the state, they didn't do a damn thing with it. They kicked it back to the FBI. So we went there because the FBI did nothing, and they kicked it back to the police, did nothing. And then they come up with this, they're investigating money laundering. Well, probably the least of their crimes is money laundering. I mean, espionage is much worse. Millions of dollars in bribes is much worse. And endangerment of a child is the worst. I do not know what's wrong with the upper echelon of the FBI. I just know it should be fired. And we got to start clean in honor of the many FBI agents who are decent people.
Mayor Giuliani, talk about your podcast. Your podcast the other day, you walked through what you would do as how you would prosecute
right
this.
Now,
how do people get to your
podcast? It has a nice summary of all this. It's Rudy'sCommonSense.com. Nice summary, 25 minutes. You'll get the facts. Go look at it before you vote. Even if you know these, you'd be better off in explaining to other people.
Mayor, what's your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle is just Rudolph Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani.
We got to bounce.
That's my Twitter handle.
You keep grinding on media all day, particularly up in Northeast Pennsylvania. That's where we need Rudy's a rock star up there.
I got about 20 more calls to go.
Okay, sir. We'll talk to you later in the day.
We're going around. I consider this like guerrilla warfare. We're going around the blockade. We're going around the censorship.
Well, we're going to send you some express poll numbers. Shows you what an impact you've had. We're going to take a short break. We're going to have Richard Barris.
I've been on. I think I'm up to 100 calls now.
Rudy Giuliani, America's
all right,
That's
Steve. I'll see you later,
folks. Okay, brother. We got to take some load off the president. Got to do it today. The plurals got to step up. Be back. Richard Barris in a moment.
This is the kind of card that has America talking. With it, people with Medicare are getting all-in-one coverage for their doctor visits, hospital care, prescription drugs, and more. This kind of insurance, called Medicare Part C, may also cover dental care, eyeglasses, hearing aids, fitness programs, vitamins, even healthy meals and rides to the doctor. With this kind of coverage, you do not need a Medicare supplement insurance plan. You will access your benefits through your Medicare Part C plan for one low and oftentimes $0 monthly plan premium. You deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits. Call now for free information that may help you get more coverage for less money. There is no obligation to enroll. Whether for yourself or someone you love, call the number on the screen now. Call now.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow. Towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept.
I really love the towels. They're really great. They're super absorbent.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. The new MyPillow towels are exclusively made with 100% USA combed cotton with proprietary technology and with maximum absorbency. They dry you faster and are guaranteed to work. And listen to this. Use the promo code on your screen and Mike will include a second full towel set with bath towel, hand towel, and washcloth absolutely free. That's 2 MyPillow towel sets for the price of 1 in your choice of color.
I personally guarantee they're going to be the best towels you'll ever own.
Order now.
Hello, I'm William Shatner, and you may not know this about me, but years ago, I was diagnosed with a sleep disorder. And like millions of others, I was prescribed sleep equipment. Did you know sleep equipment manufacturers recommend daily cleaning? That's why I use SoClean 2. It's the perfect complement to my daily routine, and it's hassle-free. SoClean 2 is fast and easy. It keeps my sleep equipment fresh every day without the need for disassembly. To keep the immune system strong, we should do everything we can to ensure a good night's sleep, including using the SoClean 2 daily to keep sleep equipment fresh. Try SoClean 2 risk-free for 30 nights. Order now and get $50 off. SoClean 2 is so fast and gives you peace of mind that your sleep equipment is fresh each time you use it. Call the number on your screen or go to SoClean2.com to take advantage of this risk-free trial and get $50 off. Call now.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
You're back in the War Room, Monday, the 2nd of November, year of our Lord 2020. On John Fredericks, Real America's Voice, Newsmax TV, G News, G Media, globally. For the diaspora of the Chinese, the most important election in 5,000 years of Chinese history is tomorrow. Most important election in the history of this republic is tomorrow. We're going to bring in a second Richard Barris. We got up on the thing, our map. This map comes from a lot of thought of analytics and talking to smart people like Richard Barris and looking at other groups polling like Susquehanna and others and some of the raw data that comes in. So we got it at 289. That's what it'll be tomorrow night. And by the way, I think the campaign is actually more aggressive. I think the campaign thinks that maybe potentially Nevada, Michigan, Minnesota. Joe Biden didn't go out to Minnesota because he didn't need to. They're afraid. They're afraid. They were out in Minnesota the other day because they need to. Okay, we got a lot going on. Now joined by Captain Maureen Bannas now in her seat. We've got a ton going on. Before I get to Barris, Express has got a great poll out. Forget the overall numbers. They show Trump winning, but the most important thing is about the Biden family crime syndicate.
Democracy Institute and the Express just came out with a poll. There's some amazing things in here. 4 in 5 Trump voters do not tell their friends and family that they're voting for Trump. So there you have this sort of underneath thing. As far as criminal justice reform, they asked the question, who's most important here, Kim Kardashian, Donald Trump, or Joe Biden? Kim and Donald got 43%, and Biden got 14%. We'll go through a couple of these other ones. Question, does alleged Biden family corruption make you more or less likely to vote for Joe Biden? 21% less likely.
Wow. Boom.
Is Joe Biden a corrupt politician? Yes, 52%. In light of alleged Biden crime family corruption, do you consider Joe Biden a national security risk? Yes, 54%.
Write that down, Biden campaign. Wow.
When we look at the enthusiasm
wow.
gap, are you strongly or very enthusiastic about your choice of candidate? Trump voters, 86%. Biden voters, 52%.
This is the problem you have. People are just not going to come out to the polls. This is the problem. Game day vote.
Are you comfortable with your relatives,
not
friends, and coworkers knowing how you vote? Trump voters, only 22% are comfortable letting their coworkers and family members know how they're voting. That would be 90% for the Biden voters.
That is inextricably linked to why these polls I don't think are correctly. You got to get into the data underneath them. And so all today on Morning Joe, on CNN, they're all high-fiving. It's the same group. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, when they gave us the exit polls in 2016, we were getting blown out, okay? It was like a Hillary Clinton landslide. And we said, we looked at each other and said, man, we couldn't have gotten it this wrong, okay? And we didn't. Because even people that voted for Trump would not tell an exit poll person after they voted, they're leaving. They'd not fess up, right? That's okay. Vote's private. Only you and God.
Well,
right?
We know that they're making lists, Steve, and we've seen this. They go
100%.
to people's house and harass them. So why
Yes.
would you tell a stranger
Yes.
what you're going to vote if another stranger is going to throw a brick through your front window?
Just as you know, the Express is the paper of the global populist movement. It's out of London. It's a fabulous paper. It's always had Nigel Farage and the UKIP guys back.
Also, their methodology is very good as well, and they were successful in 2016. They've been pretty tight on this. What they do is they don't just look at registered voters. They look at registered voters who actually vote.
Yes. They are the guys that called Brexit, along with Breitbart. We knew Brexit was going to happen. Everybody's so shocked. You know, the next day on BBC, Nigel Farage, who's going to be on later in the show, he's up at Scranton. A global gathering of the tribes of the populist nationalist movement up in northeast Pennsylvania as now working-class people, particularly Catholics, of Irish descent start to flip. We're going to have Richard Barris. Let's bring in Richard Barris. Richard, give us your assessment right now of where we stand overall, and then I want to talk. Then you should bring out what some hot spots are that you see. Richard Barris from Big Data Polling, I think one of the smartest guys around. Walk us through where we are right now.
We're going to drop Minnesota here in a little bit. You know, it could be closer than we think, but it looks a little bit out of reach for Donald Trump. It looks more male. It looks more non-college, unless there is that shy component we all have been talking about. There's a lot of people who tell us, about 35% in the poll tell us they're uncomfortable being truthful with pollsters. That's an enormous uncertainty, but still, you know, we try to look at it objectively, maybe a little bit out. But Pennsylvania, we have deadlocked at 48, which is a slight increase for Trump. And Wisconsin, we're starting to get the feeling we may be a little bit wrong. The last one was Biden +2. The new numbers look better for the president. Everywhere from Arizona to Wisconsin to Pennsylvania, late deciders are going for Donald Trump, and it's 2 or 3 to 1.
Hard drive. Okay, I got a question here. You have Pennsylvania. Explain to our audience why there's such a big disconnect. Right now, this morning, they're coming out to Trump, Biden by 10, Biden up by 7 in Pennsylvania. You've got Pennsylvania as a dead heat, 48 to 48, right, roughly. So
yeah,
how can you have... How could you be so different than, what is your methodology that makes you so different than other very well-known pollsters?
So the Monmouth, that's +7 right now, right? Actually, it's a great example because as I'm working, I was listening to him. I can hear the news in the other room. And he said, there's some evidence actually in this poll that seniors are coming back to Trump in Pennsylvania. Yeah, we saw that a week and a half ago, Patrick. We caught on to that quicker. In the poll in late September, Biden did have a slight lead with seniors. They've since gone back to Donald Trump. That was a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So we're just a little bit quicker. We're constantly interviewing much larger samples than most other pollsters, and also we're giving anonymity. And I think that's huge. It really is huge. You have to coddle people. You have to tell them that what they're telling you is confidential. It's anonymous, confidential, and you're not going to be plastered. Your name is not going to end up on the Des Moines Register.
When you say late deciders, though, there's very few undecided. So these people that are rethinking it are these people that have come up with new information. And look, 3.5 weeks ago, after he got COVID or CCP virus, and after the debate, which I thought his debate was fine, but the media buried him on that. He hit a downdraft. There's no doubt about it. We can see in the numbers. Yeah. But so what these when we say they're late deciders, are they turning, particularly the working class Irish Catholic vote up in the Northeast and in Western Pennsylvania, which he has to overperform in Western Pennsylvania. He's got to run the score up, and he's got to win Northeast Pennsylvania. Doesn't win Northeast Pennsylvania, he's not going to win this thing. So what has happened?
Yeah, so I was just going to add that the Western Pennsylvania Democrats. So they are registered Democrats. That is the real traditional swing vote in Pennsylvania before Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump made the Northeast a swing vote. So Luzerne looks very similar to 2016. It looks like a 22-point margin for the president. And then Monroe looks like it's going. So it was very close there last time. But Lackawanna is really where we've been oversampling to see what we can. Biden was at 51 at one point. And, you said, I heard you say hard drive before. It may be, Steve. It may be, because the number of people that say they're familiar with the Biden news reports has gone from 60, a paltry 62%, to now almost 80%. And it's worth pointing out the bigger numbers are older voters.
Hold on, give me that. Slow down. Hit the rewind and give us that again. What did you just say? I want to make sure I understand it.
When that story first broke, we asked people if they were familiar with the news reports. And when we first got in the field, it was nothing compared to Clinton, for instance. It was constantly 90 with Clinton. It was only about 60, 62%. Now it's up there. It's in the high 70s, but among older voters. So 45 to 64 and 65 plus. That's high 80s, low 90s. So they're right there. And maybe some of that movement has to do with that. I also just think, in the end, he's an incumbent. And people who do start to waver, the incumbents have a very strong historical advantage with these voters. And we get lost in the polls. The headline from Monmouth, who not only got a lot wrong in Pennsylvania, but with that Rick Saccone, Connor Lamb race, they released these different turnout projection results. They got the turnout completely wrong. So a higher turnout would have benefited Rick Saccone. A lower turnout would have benefited Connor Lamb. They were just completely backward. So I'm feeling pretty confident we're seeing something.
Let's go to Florida. The foundational elements of this are Ohio and Florida, particularly how they report in the evening. Let's talk about Florida for a second. You're actually a Florida guy. You know Florida like the back of your hand. Walk us through Florida and what counties you're looking at, and particularly Hispanic and black vote.
Right. So the Hispanic vote for Donald Trump it's looking like it's going to be a historic vote. So he can dip a little bit with the white vote. The typical secret sauce in Florida for a Republican is to get 60%, hit that 60% of the white vote. This time he doesn't have to do that with the numbers we're seeing in Miami-Dade. He just doesn't have to. It's such a large population center that Donald Trump can slip a few points. Now, that's not true in the Midwest. He needs to run it back up. But in Florida, that swing is going to be, we're sticking with the 9, but 9-point swing is a big number. There are just new groups of Hispanic voters that are there that were not there for him 4 years ago. They weren't eligible to vote 4 years ago, and now they are.
This is catastrophic for the. This is more than just Cubans. This is catastrophic for the Democrats. All the beatdown they've given Donald Trump for X amount of years about the Hispanic vote. How could are you actually projecting that you think the Hispanic vote, when you say historic, maybe in the low to mid 40s? Is it have a 4 in front of it?
Yeah, I've seen.
How did this happen?
Them leading.
And they've had some very smart. They've had some very smart Congress people from Democrats from South Florida on MSNBC and CNN in the last 72 hours saying, "Hey, you got to get down here. People got to start knocking on doors. We got to get engagement with the Black and Hispanic community." How could they have blown it, or at least it looks like, given they've had years to get ready for this thing? Bloomberg just put $100 million cash money into doing a ground game. How does Donald Trump get something in the 40s with the Hispanic vote?
They should have been paying attention to the voter file, and they should have been oversampling Hispanic voters. If you just pick up the phone and call 400, 500 Floridians and try to get their opinions, that subsample of Hispanics is just not good enough. And Hispanics don't participate in these different modes at the same rates. Puerto Ricans will almost always be overrepresented. If you want to make sure you're going to get the Hispanic vote right statewide, you really have to make sure you get your Colombians, you get your Cubans, and now Venezuelans, a totally new group. You have to hit these. You have to hit these people, and they don't.
Let's talk about the African American vote in Miami-Dade and in Florida overall. Where do you think? Because people are telling me, smart guys I know over the weekend say nationally you could be looking at 12, 14, 15% of the black vote and lower turnout, which is going to be catastrophic to the Democratic Party. What's your analysis showing you?
12. That's about our number. That's it. But in battleground states, it's bigger. In Pennsylvania, he's been doing George W. Bush well with the black vote. In Ohio, we saw the same thing. We're not the only ones to see that as well. Even big media pollsters are finding 17, 18% in some of these states. We have him ticked up about 2% in Pennsylvania. So he's hovering around 18%. That's solid, and it is looking like a lower turnout. They had a second source to the polls. It did a little bit better in Philadelphia, but he's just lagging Hillary Clinton.
Okay. Richard, could you hang through the commercial break and just come back into the next segment? We've got a couple more questions to ask you about states. Richard Barris, big data polling, one of the smartest guys in the country. Our number's 289, and we do not put that up unless we thought it through. And this is still, as the campaign's looking at Nevada, Minnesota, and Michigan. But the Hawkeye states come through, Trump up 7. The Buckeyes, Trump up. Florida, the Gators, or the Seminoles. Guess it's all of it. Up. All bad news for the cocky, arrogant, out of touch media, social media, the oligarchs in Silicon Valley. It's on the shoulders of the deplorables. We'll be back with Richard Barris, Raheem Kassam, live from Scranton. Ground zero of all of this. Next on War Room Pandemic.
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new MyPillow mattress topper.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. When I invented my new MyPillow mattress topper, I made it to have everything you'd ever want in a topper. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates your body temperature for you as an individual. It comes with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry the cover. It's made in the USA, and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Go to MyPillow.com or call now to get your very own MyPillow mattress topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
MyPillow topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
I can sleep all night through, and it's a miracle for me.
Mike's exclusive 3-layer design starts with a layer of MyPillow foam, providing you superior support and comfort. The second layer of transitional foam evenly distributes body weight and helps relieve uncomfortable pressure points for optimal comfort. Mike's ultra soft outer layer is a patented temperature-regulating cover that helps keep you at your ideal sleeping temperature all night long. Unlike other sleep systems costing thousands, the MyPillow mattress topper takes comfort to a whole new level without any wires, remotes, or moving parts. Call now or go to MyPillow.com to order your MyPillow topper. Use the promo code to save 30%. When you do, Mike will give you 2 of his standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's right, 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off your MyPillow topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
If you're over 50, imagine you could turn back the clock on your stiff, achy joints 10, even 20 years. Imagine you could do this without products that just temporarily hide the symptoms and may have side effects. Imagine no more. Get your complimentary sample of Instaflex Advanced just by texting JOINT to 231231. Instaflex Advanced is different because it targets the root cause of joint soreness and stiffness. It doesn't just cover up symptoms. Instead, it bathes your joints in its unique combination of 5 key natural ingredients found in no other product. Key ingredients backed by 5 clinical studies. Instaflex Advanced is so powerful, you could have better knees in just 1 week. Maybe that's why it's #1 at GNC. But you can only get your complimentary sample by texting JOINT to 231231. Plus, text now and we'll include a tube of Instaflex pain cream with its exclusive oxygenated oil for fast-acting relief from the pain of arthritis, backaches, and sore muscles, absolutely free. Text JOINT to 231231.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Welcome back. It's Sidney Powell's our co-host, Jack Maxey, my wingman, joined by Captain Maureen Banner. We're going to have a very special surprise up live from Scranton in a moment. We want to finish with Richard Barris of Big Data Polling, one of the smartest guys in the country. So, Richard, you've got a horse race in Pennsylvania. It's on the shoulders of the deplorable. You think Florida's going to come through us. You think Ohio's going to come through us. Just real quickly, the states of Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina that swing across the country in kind of what they call, I guess, the South and the Sun Belt. But he's got to hold those 3. I know they're tight, but walk us through each one quickly. Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina. Will the president hold them?
So our last one in Arizona, the one before that, looked a little bit too close for comfort for him, but he had a little bit of a lead. He tightened Maricopa in our final poll, and ironically, that came from moderate women, which stunned us, but that's where it came from. It was, again, that was the late decider. They were holding off a suburban woman, you know, the talk of the town lately. That's what put him almost even with Biden at Maricopa. All he has to do is fight Biden close to a draw. He can lose it a little bit, and he'll hold it if he gets, big turnout in Yavapai. Georgia's got, it's going to be closer than expected, but black vote turnout there is down. There are some real red counties that they're not only voting higher, but they're telling us they're going to vote big numbers on election day. And then North Carolina, we see this almost every cycle with North Carolina, and in the end the Republican pulls it out. About a 2-point lead for the president there.
Always scares when those 3's always scares. So you set the stage close. Then for Pennsylvania or Wisconsin, with Nebraska 2 falling out. You need more. Nebraska, if you just get Nebraska, lose Pennsylvania, it's a tie, 269 to 269, because we're going to get Maine 2. We're going to lose that Omaha thing. I think the Omaha suburbs are going to lose. So it really comes down to Pennsylvania, correct? Because even if we get Wisconsin, lose Pennsylvania, it's a tie. Oops, that goes to the House of Representatives. Sorry,
well,
not sorry.
A little piece of news over the weekend that the listeners should hear about in Pennsylvania, because it's what's coming if we don't win this election. Sean Parnell, the Lion, running against the Lamb up there just west of Pittsburgh. Vandals went to his house and posted stuff on his driveway that said "No elections, revolution," and then they posted a hammer and sickle. I'm pretty sure, Pennsylvania, that the people who did that are not voting for Donald J. Trump. You got to get out there and pull the lever.
They don't want it. They know they can't win elections. That's the problem we got here. Your overall assessment as you see it right now, you're going to wrap up today. You're going to be on Barnes's podcast. You and Barnes got a podcast this afternoon where you're going to announce it. What time? How do people get to it, Richard? Because Barnes, I love Barnes. He's insane, right?
He's great.
So
he's great.
He may be deputy attorney general in the new regime, right? We get Barnes in there. We got Sidney Powell as the FBI director. What time is your podcast?
2 p.m. Eastern time, and they can do that. They can find it on YouTube, on the People's Pundit Daily YouTube channel. Yeah, that'd be a good pick right there. Barnes is something. We're going to drop Minnesota. We'll talk about it, some of the internals, and then really it's Pennsylvania. It's Pennsylvania. I can't stress that enough.
Richard Barris, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We're now, speaking of Pennsylvania, what a great segue. We're going to go live to Pennsylvania. We have the one and only co-host of War Room and the host of his own show on National Pulse, editor-in-chief, and a Morton's, he's concierge over at Morton's, Raheem Kassam, and our own lovely comms director, Alexander Preet. Hey, Alexandra, I was wondering why no work was getting done today. You're up there gallivanting around in Scranton. So tell us, Alexandra, first, give us an assessment. You're a Scranton girl. This is everything. We've said now for months, Pennsylvania's going to come down to Pennsylvania. And where Pennsylvania goes, the country goes. And where Northeast Pennsylvania goes, Pennsylvania goes. So what's the status?
We're going to have a great rally here in northeastern Pennsylvania. Steve, I told you this. They picked Joe Biden just for Scranton and Lackawanna County. They're going to be sorely disappointed. We're going to do fabulously well in Luzerne County. We're going to be very strong here in Lackawanna County. We'll be very strong across the state. What the president did last night was the whole past week, got into small towns, Montoursville. Nobody goes there, okay? Nobody's a butler. This guy is working like he's a retail politician running for governor of Pennsylvania. He's totally committed to Pennsylvania. Yep. And you should see the huge signs everywhere. I mean, it's amazing. And I think the enthusiasm is at least as great as 2016, if not better.
Let me ask you, Richard Barris has a horse race in Pennsylvania, 48-48, but he's got Lackawanna County, Trump winning by 4 points. That's in your mind, since you're a local girl and your dad's one of the smartest politicians in the country, is that a little aggressive for Lackawanna County?
You know, it is a little aggressive for Lackawanna County. I mean, I could see actually we're making up ground, getting more votes in Luzerne County. But you never know. I mean, we had on the show, the mayor of Carbondale came out this time, not 4 years ago, for President Trump. He just had a rally in Carbondale. In Carbondale, there's 7,000 people that live there. 700 became Republicans just for Trump. We picked up 205,000 new voters in the Republican Party. So I think it's very possible. I think the president's going to do a lot better than he did last time in 2016. Let's see.
Wow. Okay, last thing. You've been in politics, going around with your dad since you're a little girl. Tell us about the enthusiasm. Give us a straight assessment of the enthusiasm for Trump right now. More intense than 16? Less intense? Where do you put this?
Well, I think that it's more intense only for this, and our fans of the president in 2016 were amazing. What's more intense here is the stakes are so high. The pressure is so high. People feel that personally. The fracking issue crushes the northeastern Pennsylvania and central Pennsylvania. All of these issues, I think people feel that their religious freedom's under attack. I've never seen so many people really talking about being pro-life. It's really quite amazing. Pro-gun. The gun rights issue is huge. The Democrat Party has gone so left. I've heard a million times from people who were Democrats and say, the party is so liberal, I can't support it anymore. And the contrast could not be bigger. There are homemade signs wherever you go. They passed the house here, and they had like 25, literally in their yard, 25 signs. People are out in the open now. I was at a rally, Bikers for Trump, last night. It's not organized by the Republican Party. It's not organized by the RNC. It's not organized by the campaign. It's just a bunch of people coming together and supporting the president.
Self-organizing.
They had a parade through Lackawanna and Luzerne County. So I think that people saw how...
Alexandra, hang on. We're going to hold you guys over to the next segment. We're going to take a short break. We're going to be back. We got General Tom McInerney, one of the most revered veterans in the service. We got Nigel Farage. We're also going to have Raheem Kassam. We're going to have it all in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Gathering of the tribes now. Populist nationalists supporting Donald J. Trump versus a neoliberal neocon. Yes, that would be the stiff from the head of the Biden family crime syndicate.
A corrupt socialist Democrat.
Whoa, Sidney Powell, future FBI director. It's going to be a question on her confirmation hearing. Next.
Stay tuned to get a free pan from Granite Stone. Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can scrub and scrape, but you can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in granite stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Look, caramels, chocolate, and cheese. Unreal for any other pan, but not for Granite Stone. It just doesn't stick. Granite Stone will be the last pan you'll ever need because it's pressed from a solid aluminum disc for even heat conduction, then coated 3 times with our durable Granite Stone finish. Granite Stone is metal utensil safe and won't scratch. And talk about non-stick. This salmon cooked skin side down with no added butter or oil just doesn't stick. This steak is perfectly seared, just like the pros. And because Granite Stone is oven rated to 500 degrees, we bake this upside down pan pizza to perfection, and it just doesn't stick. Fire Flambe Delicious Cherries Jubilee. Plus, it's PFOA free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your Granite Stone pan for the special TV discount price of just $19.99. Granite Stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a Granite Stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. It's the perfect size for personalized eggs, omelets, or frittatas that slide right out. It makes the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich quick. Yours absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. You get it all, an incredible value. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-850-0237. That's 1-800-850-0237, or order online at buygranitestone.com. That's 1-800-850-0237. Call now.